Oh,
I'll just take Bowie.
For some reason, I thought you were wearing some sort of Eggman T-shirt, and I was like, "Oh, it's Bowie." I see it now. Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
Yeah,
Indeed.
good film. Woken.
Woken Goblin King.
Woken Bowie.
Okay.
Woken David Bowie. How you wake me up.
Wake me up. Can't wake up.
Oh dear.
Let me know when you're ready, Kev.
Evanescence were woken before anybody else.
And I
was.
will.
There we go.
And have you heard the new version of Wake Me Up, by the way?
Is it Let Me Go to Sleep? I'm feeling old.
So basically, the whole point of it is that it wasn't meant to be as edgy as it was when it came out, and the only reason it was is because the fucking publishers, the fucking music thing, were like, it needs to be dark and edgy, and so that's why it's got the screamo part in it. But it sounds so melodic. In the,
I was gonna say, is it supposed to be like really sort of tranquil
it's meant
and
to be just tranquil and melodic.
WWE Universe? Do you want to walk with Evanescence?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to another episode of Last Minute Kickout. We are continuing our rundown of SummerSlam 2018 with the greatest co-hosts in wrestling history. One, Mr. Kevin, the Kevin Eva. Eva, how you doing, sir?
Good evening.
Good evening. And one, Mr. John Turbo Finlay.
Yo.
NXT champion to the stars. Yes, so we last talked about AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, and I went on a bit of a rant for the next 9 months of booking. Let's not do any of that, and instead go to a pretty fucking cool match of Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Yes, we're skipping over the Alliance segment because I can't be bothered to listen to John moan about it. Yeah, Daniel Bryan and The Miz. This was, I think everybody was expecting a fucking barnstormer. It was pretty fucking good, to be fair.
8 years in the making. Once in a thrice time.
At least they didn't say that in the promo. It's like once in a lifetime, or like it's been so long. And
have you noticed how much it's already echoing the fucking John Cena and The Miz from like last time? It's like, yeah, a singles match, and then we'll go into a mixed tag following that. Woohoo! Look, I understand they both got significant others. Both aren't very good in the ring though, and it just slows the match down entirely. And
yeah,
I will happily take Brie over Nikki any day of the week.
Which one of the two of them was it that botched something on SmackDown or Raw recently? I can't remember.
I think both of them kind of like did a.
Oh yeah, they both did actually.
Who was the one that did the fucking suicide dive through the ropes and just fucked it?
I think it might have been Nikki.
Yeah.
Is that Nikki with the neck?
Yeah.
Doing suicide dives.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. Dodgy ending, but otherwise good story, good wrestling.
I was gonna say probably the ending to it was obviously seen a mile away, because when we saw Maurice at ringside, it was like, yep, she's gotta get involved. Yep, this is gotta go further and whatnot. And I wasn't expecting Bryan to win the first match back, having this angle with Miz at all. The work rate was great. Daniel Bryan was in top form. He did promise to punch Miz in the face multiple times, so that was good.
Too much, in fact. He promised it.
Yeah, but the only downfall was the rest of the crowd. The crowd was just not that invested.
I don't think it was that they weren't invested. I think they were burnt out from Joe and AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they've had like 5 other matches, prominent matches of the main card beforehand, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem. The most annoying thing is that the Miz and Bryan are so good on the mic and in the ring. It's ridiculous. It really is. Oh, I don't know.
It's one of those ones where it's, yes, we've got a face, we've got a heel, but damn it, we'll just sit back and enjoy it. As opposed to going yay or boo. We just want to enjoy it. And yeah, there was also, I loved the storyline throughout, which was Miz sort of trying to prove that he's the wrestler. Throughout, we had not only the it kicks, but him stealing the corner drop kicks, which I love. Him constantly going up Bryan all the way through it. He's like got him in a chin lock and put a couple of moves in there, but he was yelling in Bryan's ear, "How about a cravat? How's that for wrestling?" and stuff like that, which was fantastic. Lots of little bits here and there. Miz putting the surfboard on as well, which was kind of
really, really cool to watch. Really enjoyable.
Yeah. Was it a perfectly executed surfboard? Well, no. And even if Miz could do a perfectly executed surfboard, he wouldn't have in that situation, because the whole point is that he's a wrestler who's not as good as Daniel Bryan. So yeah, it was nice. The fact that they could both do the surfboard was pretty cool. Logic in the moves. Bryan, went after the hamstrings at one point before returning that surfboard. The moment where the it kicks happen again, and Bryan's like pushing himself into them. It's like
showing how much of a man he is.
Yeah, it's like we know you're nuts, D-Bry. We know you're nuts.
Stop trying to kick me and kick me.
Yeah, it was really good in terms of the moves and everything else.
There was a couple of kind of like shaky moments.
Oh god, but
most notably, I've only just recently watched because since we've waited a while, Botchamania has now released its latest episode, and it features a couple of botches from that match in there. One was the Miz kind of like fumbling on a bulldog that Bryan was going.
Oh yeah, bulldogs are weird because you either get it or if it goes wrong, it goes all very badly.
I find the bulldog, the move itself, is more about the person selling it and landing it properly rather than anything else.
Right. But the other one was more dangerous, which was like Bryan on the rope and Miz doing a clothesline to Bryan, and he kind of like flips over and he almost lands on his head.
Oh yeah, there is that moment.
Yeah, it's like
any time Bryan goes down, just holding his head,
or like
on anything.
He does a flip or something like that, and he's about to land on the mat, and he's like his head's very close to just going like spike into it. It's
time. Every time. But yeah, lots to like there.
I'm just upset at the direction this is going. It could have.
They're just prolonging it, obviously.
No, absolutely, but it could have gone in such a better direction than. They obviously can't put the two of them in two of the ladies in a single match, so it's obviously they get some airtime in the future carried by Miz and Bryan, which is disappointing. I would much rather just see single matches with stipulations and everything else.
Can I just say how much I really, really love Miz's little sort of stunted pendulum DDT that he does? I love that move.
Yes, you can tell us how much you love that move.
I absolutely love that move. It always looks, no pun intended, it's just awesome. It just always looks effective. But there was also a very lovely bit near the end where they both ended up out on the apron. They've both been going for the legs for their own individual means, and Bryan's getting kicks because when they're both on the apron. Miz he practically flung himself off the apron, avoided the last one, and Bryan kicked the post. I mean, really hard. It sounded like. what I loved was that there was no delay. Miz went straight for the figure four. I absolutely pounced on it. Went straight for the figure four, which Bryan then blocked initial. Bryan tried to turn it, which was initially blocked, and then it was reversed, which was really cool. And I know you guys are sort of like on the ending. I really liked the ending because whilst yes, they're on the outside, Maurice on the outside, there's going to be interference. How they did the brass knucks was actually really good, and nobody really knew. And it was one of those times where after the fact, you can sort of tell. Okay, so he's hit him with something clearly, but it was well hidden. The fact they had to go to the replay cams afterwards, the commentators actually had to sort of sit down and discuss it a bit.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I kind of saw it first time. It's just obviously, it's like I was the eagle-eyed kind of like guy.
It was kind of inferred by a punch and Bryan going down.
Yeah,
I think it was.
You could see Miz put them on. Yeah, and you could sort of see.
I saw Maurice hand it over.
I've got no problem with the finish. The more problem I've got is how they've spun the finish into where it's going next. That's my only problem. But yeah, from one awesome match into a non-match of the Demon Finn Balor versus Constable Baron Corbin.
There was no video package for this. I don't think, was there?
No. There's no hype to it whatsoever.
Why make a video package when Finn Balor's entrance is going to be longer than both the match and the video package combined?
Actually, the reason why was because we had Taker and Triple H video package.
We're having a massive.
And Taker's gong into the opening guitar of the game is such a cool mix. They did that. The video team was on point. The Miz Bryan package was amazing as well.
Yeah, they've reused a lot of those assets, a lot from what they did on SmackDown, because the SmackDown video package of like at the beginning, in the middle, and now is that those introspectors were really, really good.
Are you saying they showed WWE then, now, and forever?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Spoilers.
Also, while we're talking about The Miz, I think he needs to drop the awesome part from his opening, Titantron. I think it just needs to do the Hollywood bit into the I came to play. I don't think it needs the awesome bit anymore.
I think you could do that way and sort of say, because the whole point is the crowd joins in on it.
Yeah. No, I get that, but he's at the point where he doesn't use the and I'm the Miz and I'm awesome. He doesn't.
Yeah,
use
so he can drop that as a way of getting a heat.
Yeah. I like his entrance theme. I think Miz's entrance theme is fucking amazing.
He's one of the few people who's sort of kept an entrance theme pretty much solidly, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's only had to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, there's been a little tweak. I mean, Turbo, when he had he's obviously had stuff before that with Eminem and when he was
but when he was on his own, his I Came to Play music was kind of like prominent, I think, from the get-go when he went single.
You are right, sir. It was.
But yes, let's talk about the non-match of.
Now,
I'll tell you this. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Finn Balor. Duh.
No, you?
No.
That would be like saying that one of them had somehow impacted your life in some way.
I don't know.
Have I told you how well you're looking recently?
Oh, thank you. He was like, I'm just ravishing, aren't I?
Ravishing John Finlay. Have you got Pete's face stenciled on your briefs?
Oh god. Yeah, it's on my shoes.
Brushed on his shoes.
No. I do like that we got to see the demon again. It's just a shame it was just for this very, very weak
It was
feud.
pointless. The whole reason it was brought back at all was because it was SummerSlam.
Of course, that is the main focus on it. It's like, and they wanted. It also goes back to the AR kind of like stuff that they were doing throughout the night and whatnot.
Yeah, they brought that back out again.
Yeah, well, the best use of that was for Finn Balor's kind of like
the storm above, over the arena. That I agree that worked really well.
Yeah, because it was just a solid kind of like mass of texture essentially, and it fit well for the character. Not this floating mask or floating pancakes or whatever the hell they
or a giant dog's head.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A giant dog.
Hey kids, let's give you nightmares. You like Robin, right?
A giant dog. Perhaps you could say a large dog. It's the moderately sized dog.
It is a humongous dog.
But yes, Balor was the demon for some. Balor was the demon, and as my notes said, Balor's the demon. Well, he's winning then.
Yes. Essentially, that's what happened.
But what we didn't realise was just how he was going to win.
In about 2 minutes.
Okay, so yeah,
it was just quick.
Graves actually made it great. Graves annoyed me like crazy throughout this pay-per-view. As I said on the video before we'd started the SummerSlam stuff. Yeah, we get he's being the heel now.
Or he kind of like
there's being heel and then there's being an annoying prick, and I'm not sure he's got the balance yet.
Who's this?
Graves.
Oh,
right. But he did make a good point that actually, hey, couldn't Corbin like do something about this? Could he like change the match? Sure.
But of course, he was just the constable at the time. He wasn't proper authority figure. He was an authority figure with no authority, essentially.
Apart from the matches that he's been making on Raw.
Now he is.
Yeah.
But at SummerSlam, he wasn't.
Speaking of his nature as the constable, keeping the whole lone wolf idea on like the graphic and stuff doesn't work now.
His entrance also doesn't work when he has no hair.
Yeah.
He's like.
Yeah.
Well, he's just blinding people in the front row of the Shine.
I'll just shake
just
my
wax that up real nice.
Maybe we can get in contact with Next VR or whoever it is who's actually doing the AR, and we could get some augmented reality hair put on his head, as like some sort of new. Hey, they were advertising that app. That for the next pay-per-view, which I think is Hell in a Cell, isn't it?
Yes.
They had like a weird, because they had like, this was SummerSlam was advertisement was all look memes, and now it's and Hell in a Cell's one seems to be look Snapchat filters. And they had AJ and Charlotte doing an advert for that later on. Just get like a WWE app Snapchat filter that puts Baron Corbin's hair back. But we get the idea of he's the lone wolf doesn't really sit well with it. He's also the constable. Nothing says lone wolf like the police.
It also gives him too much stuff to be announced at. The lone wolf, the self-appointed constable of Raw by Stephanie McMahon, Baron Corbin.
I was gonna say I'm surprised that they didn't want to go the Bill kind of like gimmick in.
That would be so funny.
just a blue light just going off and whatnot.
See, John, now you've got something that you need to make to send it to fucking Matthew at Botchamania. Just an entrance with Baron Corbin.
No, I'll give that to any of the other podcasts.
Can you also do one which splices in some Taggart? Because I just want him to. All of a sudden, Corbin does a botch and it just goes to him. There's been a butter. That's what we need. But though, in terms of the match, you know, Corbin protested. He got jumped.
Sorry. There was a match. No.
It's going to be very quick. So
it was a murder.
Corbin protested, got jumped. There was a proper sling blade.
Yes,
a proper sling blade. We'll get back to sling blades later. Because for God's sake, but please take note, Mr. Rollins, that's what a sling blade looks like as opposed to shoving somebody in the chest. Went over the top. The Demon did a somersault plunger out onto Corbin. Corbin's just staggering around the ring going, why? Why is this happening to me? And yeah, sling blade on the outside, and there was sort of multiple drop kicks all the way through. Just like every seventh move was like, oh, just drop kick. But he was drop kicked to the barricade. Corbin then rolled in, kicked by Balor, went up to do a double stomp on the top of Corbin's back/neck, which looked like it hurt, frankly. And we had another driving drop kick forward. Corbin was then sent down. Coup de grace, 3 count. Thank you for coming, Mr. Demon. And then presumably Corbin got up afterwards and went, why? Why is this happening to me? It was very quick. Coach actually made the point mid-match. And it was actually quite a decent one. Cole was like, "Oh no, because it's you know it's important about this." But Coach, I said, "Look, if he's going to be this dominant in these, why isn't he just the Demon all the time? if you're that dominant, why don't you just do that?"
Because it takes 365 days to properly channel the Demon. He only appears at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it's got like a cooldown mode.
It takes him a year to. Takes him a year to heal up the massive wound in his back from the mouth that sprouted.
You've got to remember that if he did it at WrestleMania would go on for another hour because that's how long the Demon would take to get down the ramp.
Oh dear.
True.
Keeping on Balor before we go away, Mixed Match Challenge is coming back.
Oh yes.
And Balor is, after last year, which the story was how
Balor and
Sasha Banks.
Balor and Sasha, and Bayley was kind of annoyed, which actually sort of slowly started there.
Yeah.
I'd say slow burn, but that would be an insult to slow burns. But now it's going to be Bayley and Balor, and Bayley's already sort of said, "Hey, you know our history in NXT. Please play on that and have them do each other's entrances in the main setting." That would be just hilarious.
Balor just coming out in the
in the tassels and again, and coming out. Actually, Demon Bayley would be really funny to see.
Oh,
I'd love to see that, and she'd have an absolute kick out of it.
Although, granted, this is Mixed Match Challenge, and we're probably
Mixed Match Challenge doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Mixed Match Challenge, you know, it's sort of out of canon with WWE's own storyline.
Yeah,
and shit.
It's
they're also bringing back Strowman and Bliss, which was
ironically
very entertaining last time.
Indeed, it was.
I want more Miz and Asuka.
You got Miz and Asuka.
Yes, you do.
Miz and Asuka are back together as well, which means that they're not winning now. Because
they're not winning this time.
We knew who was winning last time because they had to maintain the win streak. So before anything else happened, we cut back to the training room, and Bryan is annoyed and angry with himself, and they're continuing this whole thing about what Miz saying that his comeback's a bust, and Bryan's starting to go, "Oh, believe it." But Bree's there, and Bree tells him to buck his ideas up, basically, and not to doubt himself. And basically, guys, what I'm saying is, find yourself a partner like Bree in life. Because
find someone that looks at you the same way Bree looks at Bryan.
Yeah.
I wish I had that.
You do, Johnny. It's your right hand. That your right hand will never leave your side.
Does that mean his left one's Nikki?
Got a pair of twins. What can I say?
Right. So, moving on, US Championship match with the charismatic human graffiti wall and make Shinsuke Nakamura again. And, yeah.
With a Viper in the wings.
A Viper in the wings, which
What
is impressive.
Going on with this storyline? I don't understand. Jeff, you dropped the title because you were meant to be going out for rest on your back.
Alright.
Why are you still here?
Right. Jeff Hardy, I can't do the Swanton much anymore, and I need to tone things down. Also, Jeff Hardy, Swanton's onto an apron. Did you know that the apron's the hardest part of the ring? And there's, I don't know. All I've written initially for I think the first half of this match is I miss Matt already.
Yes,
Just like
I miss him.
it's just like we could be having something other than this.
Yeah.
And I just looked at stuff, and this entire match has made me feel really sad.
You know, we could have broken Hardys.
And instead, we've got broken Hardys.
The audience knows we've got broken Hardys, but for some reason, there's lots of people saying that Matt's pretty much looking at retiring now.
Well, that's because his lower back and his pelvis are fusing.
Oh, soon he shall be a broken Hardy. For real.
No, he is. He is very much.
Yeah, he is already a
looking
broken
into
Hardy.
stuff. So, I mean, obviously, your back and your pelvis fusing is pretty bad. Nicely though, he's actually put out a video on his own stuff about teasing about how the whole thing of hey, this part of the story might be over and what have you. And it showed him in his sort of corporate suit because he was at SummerSlam producing.
Yes.
I'm not sure which match he produced, actually. I would be interested to find out.
If it was this one, then...
No, I got a feeling it was a different one, actually. But... Yeah, but what was... So he did that, and, you could tell from his walk, actually, because he's got a very, very Undertaker-like limp at the minute.
Yeah.
But there was this whole thing about he rolled along. He looked a bit like Big Money Matt actually from Ring of Honor days.
Big Money Matt.
And that was, if you've never seen the Big Money Matt stuff, especially his card promo where he doesn't say anything, it just talks through cards. That's amazing. But he sort of went through the gate as with this big thing going on, and there's lots of sort of like clips from various wrestling YouTubers that are in there, but the upshot was when the gates closed and it cut back to him, he was in broken mode. And he was just like, yes, but when I cross this line, the line between fantasy and reality, my broken brilliance will never end. So he's basically saying that, hey, there might be actually more broken stuff not just be on YouTube. And so when he's not doing produced stuff, he might just continue the broken universe in the background.
I would have liked for him to have his broken persona or woken persona in a managerial role. For either SmackDown or Raw, so if that might happen later down the line, that would be great because have some real comedy moments of him making the matches in that persona.
Him just doing like completely random ones, like Kevin Owens versus.
Don't get me started on Kevin Owens. Now.
Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles in a Coleman's glove on a pole match for no reason at all. Basically, have Matt Hardy as the choose your match wheel, just in human form. That'd be great. So Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I was astonished at how utterly uninterested I was in this.
Same here.
Oh, I
switched off.
Considering the people we've got involved in that match, it was
after everything that they've done to Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm just not caring.
Don't care. So things started. We had there was a tentative lock up, and Nakamura sort of broke it with a kick and was all like cocky, and it was weird. Jeff looked really sad at that, like 'cause it's somehow been let down. And like, okay, that's a weird thing. Shinsuke laughed and did his sort of little walk away taunt. Jeff brought out the deletes. We had the come on, and then Jeff. They did the whole reverse thing with Jeff stealing all the taunts. They look really shit.
Well, they stole stuff off each other, didn't they?
Yeah, they stole stuff off each other. Actually, the best bit of that entire sequence with Shinsuke was Shinsuke after being told, you know, having the stuff done to him and his own taunts done to him in the come on, and he looked like somebody had run over his puppy.
Yep.
he went from angry to sort of like, you can't do that. That's not fair.
That's my thing.
That's my thing. It went up. It went outside. Jeff hit a sling blade, and that looked terrible. In fact, one thing that I got out of all this, Jeff looks so slow.
Yeah.
In the ring right now,
the
crowd was really quiet. We had the one nice bit was the Kinshasa attempt, which was then blocked into a twist of fate, which is also blocked. Nakamura goes down for the ball buster, and Jeff just steps back.
Yeah,
and he's just left there in midair, practically. And of course, the referee's going, "What are you doing?" And stuff. It's like, well, I didn't hit the low blow, so
the match is still on.
This is lot. Oh dear.
I don't understand why this match was so high up the card.
I don't know either. Obviously it was for the US title. They had to put some kind of like title match.
I would very much like to skip past the rest of this and talk about how much. Oh no, there's two big shit shows coming up, isn't there? Yeah.
One thing. Okay, so the match ends with the apron hits, as I mentioned, the Swantons lands on the apron. Jeff's rolled in. Nakamura delivers a heel to the back of the head, like scissor kick style, which did look nasty as hell.
King of Strong Style for you.
Yeah, then we had the Kinshasa. Everything was donezo. Then Orton appeared. He hears voices in his head, and Jeff was still down. So it was like, oh, he's going to beat up Jeff. And he walked down to the ring and then walked away from the ring. Nice work if you can get it, Randy.
I mean,
work that paycheck.
He even makes doing nothing look boring. I'm so tired of Randy Orton. Please.
He'd oiled himself up specially.
Fuck off, Orton.
He's back. Now fuck off again. So anyway,
I think we should all just say to the people who wanted him back to be a heel and whatnot, you didn't want him back in the first place.
You didn't really want him back. What's he gonna do? Oh look, he's gonna stomp on people. Oh look, oh it's an RKO out of nowhere. Oh look, somebody set themselves up in midair for him, so he can just go. You know, it's
an RKO that was completely predicted. No.
Anyway.
Can I just point out that after Daniel Bryan and The Miz, how much of a non-show the rest of this event is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because that was the problem of this 4-hour malarkey.
I mean, it's like Finn Balor and Corbin, pointless. Elias, pointless. Shinsuke Nakamura and Jeff Hardy, boring. Fucking Ronda Rousey just fucking squashing.
Well, that's next, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, but it was done for the same reason that we talked about Charlotte Flair winning. They needed to have a second women's champion going into Evolution that was really strong.
Third hour of this show was bad. But yeah, Raw Women's Championship, where we had Nia Jax's real life best friend, Honest, versus Ronda. They've managed not to mention her every 5 minutes this pay-per-view. Well done, commentary team. Rousey. The best bit of this was Natty coming out. I'm gonna say Natty came out in her dad's, the late Jim the Anvil Neidhart's 1990 SummerSlam jacket. Got a really nice pop, big round of applause. Everyone understood what was going on there.
The worst part of this match is the Bella Twins in the ring with Ronda Rousey for no fucking reason.
Well, yeah, because they were there. They were there at the down there,
the beginning,
whatever, and everyone was like,
"Why?"
And then at the end, they got in the ring to celebrate with, and everyone booed. Quite rightly so, because it's like, look, we know what you're doing.
We understand. Like Natalia being in the ring as part of the storyline throughout all of this.
Yeah. Also, Natty's the person who trained her, and in the wrestling stuff, has been working with her, and that's been made very clear from the get-go.
Yeah.
I don't think she learnt a lot from the Bellas.
Maybe that makeup.
What was with that?
I don't know. It's like I've heard of people having war paint for their face and whatnot. Asuka has that. The War Raiders have that. Balor has that. She was like, Ronda just, for some reason, she just thinks that a ton of eyeshadow skewing off of her eyes is battle paint. And it's like,
if it made me look like a monster, I'd do it too.
Her previous appearance. I mean, this is such a weird thing for three guys to sort of go about, but it did look really distracting.
Every time the camera flashed to it, it kind of looked a little off-putting. No, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, it looked off. Also, there's the whole thing about Bliss came out first. It was like we had Natty, and then we had Bliss come out, and then we had Rousey's March of Doom.
I don't get it. Like everything about this everything about this match just seemed off. Like they could have told. Like I understand they want to. The idea of this story is that they're putting that Rousey can't be beaten without outside interference or a weapon, and they make her seem like this entire monster, so that when somebody comes up and beats Rousey, it means something. And I get that. I get that that's the thing that they're trying to make. But Alexa should have still had the way you do it is that. You let Rousey toy with them and be like, God, instead of doing it in the way of like get in the ring, you let Alexa get in some actual action. Like you let her do it, and then you're like, you don't no sell it all, but you do something so that it comes across that she's being out wrestled because she's still technically a rookie, and then let her fucking just unleash the fucking judo and the MMA and everything.
This is the thing that as somebody who used to do judo, anytime she does any kind of throw, that does not automatically make it a judo throw.
No, it doesn't. But I am going to say that
it's weird
from someone that's done judo throws and someone that's taken some light bumps in the past. Those fucking judo throws in that ring, every time she does it through the arm, look like they fucking hurt. And I feel sorry for fucking Alicia Fox, who's taken so many of those. They look like they legitimately hurt.
I'm surprised she hasn't gone into shoulder surgery before all those flips she's done.
I very much hope that Foxy, especially, was given some extra... as is termed in judo, breakfalling practice, because there's getting thrown around, and then there's just getting really thrown around, and Foxy's a veteran, which sounds weird, but it's her and Natty who are the oldest.
Been there for a decade, we know.
But it's even no one's going to be able to. You're going to have that done to you so often. There was some Coach made cover for Rousey at one point when she was actually just not because she was.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah. And Coach covered very well for that. I think the best bit was Bliss's double jointedness coming back in to play because that looked awful.
Oh,
with the arm being twisted and bent and bent and bent more and bent more. And please stop. We know that we've got the double joint stuff with Bliss, and she can do. Actually, we've gone pretty much past that now. Can you please stop with the arm? You're actually going to break the woman's arm off. Could you please no? And locking it in, finally locking it in, and then the wrench.
Yeah.
Were you also like, ooh, at that? Because it looked like it was kind of to the limit, and then it went like a 90-degree turn. And
yeah, I'll be completely honest with you. I kind of switched off from the match after thrown around so much because it was just like, well, I know who's gonna win this. Spin on.
That's what Rousey was doing. She was yelling out to Pete to pay attention. It's like, are you ready now?
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Specifically to me.
But yeah. Oh, she was, at one point, Rousey was playing for the crowd a lot. I'll give her that. And she and she went to the crowd. Shall I break it? In terms of Bliss, no, no, you don't.
But no, there's some people out there in the crowd, Kev, that are like bloodthirsty monsters that would love to see that happen and whatnot.
I mean, Americans.
Yeah.
It's like, give us the blood! Break the woman's arm! No.
Stretch them!
So many squash matches.
Make them humble.
So many squash matches.
Yeah, lots of squash matches for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Lots. So there's literally 3 squash matches.
We'll go through them all.
They made it sound like... Right, okay, so I know that obviously Ronda has put in lots of time at the Performance Center and what have you. Yes. But what they said at the end made it sound like she'd somehow done more than any other wrestler, which kind of grated on me a bit when they were like she's putting this fantastic effort, and yeah, she just squashed Alexa Bliss.
Isn't she now like one of the only superstars to make an appearance and win the world title within such a short space?
In terms of in terms of matches to world championship, it'll be she's up there with the shortest.
Yeah,
but I'm talking like she only appeared at the Rumble.
Well, that was Rumble to SummerSlam, so that was 8 months.
I mean, she doesn't beat David Arquette.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Who was at WWE earlier today at the time of recording. He was spotted. No, good. No, he's. I have no problem with Arquette.
Well, he's been improving himself.
He's been doing indie stuff recently.
Yeah,
and putting a lot of time in because
he's also on DDP Yoga. So
he's well, he's got a pass for life then, doesn't he? As far as choice, but yeah. So yeah, we had the big celebration afterwards. Cole called.
Sorry, I've just got this image in my mind of John with this massive tick list, and it's just like everybody in the world is like, do they do DDP yoga, and will I like them?
Come on,
David Arquette.
I didn't say that I like David Arquette. I just said he was part of the fucking program.
Now. I like David Arquette now.
What you don't know is that when we die, before St. Peter, everyone else has got to get through John as to whether or not they're on DDP yoga.
Shut up! Honestly. Hilarious. Look at that thing.
To pass through the
Nobel Peace Prize. How's your flexibility?
I like
bad news for you. But yeah, so
fuck you all.
Natty came in, big hug celebrations. Bellas came in, crowd booed them because the crowd saw right through it. Cole called the Bellas trailblazers, and I felt sick. And yes, he's put in countless hours at the Performance Center. Yes, Michael Cole, wrestlers do train.
Wrestlers?
They have to in order to get better.
It's part of their craft. You may not be familiar with this, but I mean, you've only been with the company, 30 years or whatever, fuck it is.
25 or something like that.
It feels like a lot longer, but yes.
Or 20.
So that was the thing.
It's 20 or something. I don't know.
Ronda leapt over the barricade, snogged her hubby, and somewhere or the other, Samoa Joe was looking at that and going, making plans.
Ronda!
And making plans. But anyway,
For everybody's wife.
ladies and gentlemen, your main event of this evening, never before seen anywhere.
No.
Anywhere on your television screen, nowhere on the network. First time ever, if you count. First time ever, if you've just regained the ability to see and hear.
You're missing the complete obvious of the bait and switch they pulled, so people wouldn't leave the arena because everybody knew Reigns was gonna win. Hey everybody, let's make you stay. Let's get Braun out there. We know you'll hang around if you see Braun with a briefcase.
It went downhill from the get-go though, because the opening promo package had nothing of the awesome Paul Heyman promo in it. The best thing of this entire program, there was lots of the one where Heyman betrays and sprays the spray, but there wasn't anything of him with Renee and his with the conflicted lost Paul Heyman promo, which was just astonishing. There was none of it, nothing in the video package.
They wanted to focus on the main things, Lesnar and Reigns.
I mean, you still had Heyman doing the voiceover.
Heads.
You still had doing a voiceover and being awesome about that. But
it's obvious that they were going something, and then they, in the last week in the run up to SummerSlam, they decided to double back on it. They were definitely going to go for something, and I think they were. I don't know, because the whole switch around and Lesnar and Heyman being buddy the week after is bizarre to me.
I think they probably had it in the back of their mind that maybe we can try to turn Roman heel by switching Heyman to go with Roman and whatnot, but then they just had cold feet and just went and said fuck it.
Can we make it a priority as opposed to heel or face? Can we make Reigns interesting? You know,
you're stretching. You're stretching for that.
Can we turn him interesting as opposed to?
You can't.
I'm gonna remind you of the fact that they've put the Shield back together just for the sheer fact that they make money, not for any reason, no storyline purpose. They've put the Shield together because it's a license to print money.
Incidentally,
personally, I wasn't a big fan of the Shield when they were first around.
Nope.
I don't know why. I like Seth. I like Dean. I don't like Roman. Plain and simple.
Bring back Seth's skunk hair. That's what's missing from the Shield.
Unfortunately, John, unlike you, there are kids that watch wrestling.
Yeah. Dumb.
Well,
stupid,
more fool
little.
you. More fool you.
I'd like to remind you that these are the same kids that
who were also a big fan of a certain John as well, I know. Of a five-finger variety.
John Elliott!
Six-fingered variety. Yeah, 6 moves of doom.
That one in China, it doesn't count.
But those kids, mate, are the voices. They and it's the only reason.
And it's the parents who are buying those kids.
It's not just that. You've got to remember that it's the biggest reason why John Cena didn't go heel was because of those kids. Because if they look up to him, he's their role model.
Heels can't do Make-A-Wish.
No, of course not.
Apart from all the heels that do.
Like Orton.
And by all the heels, I mean literally every single wrestler.
It's completely bizarre.
But only John Cena does Make-A-Wish.
It's completely bizarre in this world where kayfabe is literally not a thing anymore. Where we have where we have stories on networks. We have Ride Along of all things, the most kayfabe breaking show in existence.
I love Ride Along.
And we still live in a world of kayfabe. It's completely bonkers to me sometimes. I mean, look at The Miz. The Miz is the single most longest heel other than Kevin Owens, and the man still goes and does interviews out of character and turns up to all of the fucking
it depends. It depends. It depends on the situation, because he will either kayfabe or he won't.
Yeah.
It depends upon the thing, and he makes a judgment call as to whether or not he'll be in character for that.
But at the end, I don't get it. Like, they don't want to pull the trigger. Fine, I get it. Don't do it. But then do something interesting with Roman.
Well, with him having lack all charisma and it being forced so much, you can't get anything from him. I mean, hell, he's like, he carries around the bloody belt like a sack of potatoes.
Remember what the best promo that Roman ever did was?
Oh, I can. Is it It's My Yard Now?
That's the one. That's the best promo he ever did. He walked down to the ring, had the entire post WrestleMania thing just booing him for 5 minutes.
They wanted
one
blood.
Said one line and then walked out. Best pro. If he can't talk, don't let him be on the mic. Let him be a fucking monster character that gets fucking promoted against, and he'll walk out, say one line, and it'd be like, fine, do it that way. If that's the way that Roman works and becomes interesting, fine, do it. The only other time that Roman's been in anything relatively interesting was when it was him versus Triple H at the previous, or the year after, I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, it was the year before.
Where he disappeared for a long time, came back and just fucking demolished Hunter. Didn't say a word, just came back, murdered the guy, left. And then it all led up to Mania, and it was boring to watch.
It's one of those things where what was teased with the possibility of, Heyman and Reigns getting together, that would have been really good. And it would have been really good for Reigns, because as was mentioned in the promo, just like,
Heyman
rode with his dad. Heyman can teach him a lot of the stuff that he needs to know.
It could have gone so
Heyman can literally go one-on-one promo stuff with Reigns and help that aspect. He'll speak for him in the time being, but in that process, put them together for 9 months or a year or whatever. Put them together. We were mentioning about the 9 months till Mania or whatever it was. Put them till Mania, and then have Heyman screw Reigns, and you've got another storyline going off of that. But in the meantime, he'd be learning from somebody who would love to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'd see more Heyman on TV.
You'd see more Heyman.
I mean,
you could do some
look at
stuff.
it. Look at the same way it worked for fucking Lesnar. Lesnar can't speak for bollocks, and it was when Lesnar first debuted, and we had Heyman just being the mouthpiece because they knew about Lesnar's voice, and they didn't want a big monster to be ridiculed because of the voice, and that is why Heyman was the mouthpiece. And if Roman can't speak, let somebody else do the talking for him. That's what they did for the Shield for the longest time. Seth and Dean did the talking, and Roman just stood there, said a line, and that was it.
And you've got then got a foreign element attached to the Shield, and funnily enough, Seth and Dean aren't going to be happy with that, and there's a storyline that you can pay off as and then you've got him, maybe Heyman tries to turn Reigns against Seth because, hey, Seth was only betrayed you last time and he's saying this about me. It's him who's causing the trouble.
While we're talking about the Shield, by the way.
Because it's anything other than this match, to be honest. But
Post-Raw this week, fuck me, did I have shades of the fucking two-man power trip and the Brothers of Destruction. Fuck me. They've stuck every title in this main event feud right now. What the fuck is the rest of the roster going to fight over?
Main event?
Pride.
It's a 3-hour show. I get it on a 2-hour or a 1-hour show when fucking SmackDown was like an hour long and Raw was 2 hours. I get it because, you can have those small stories. A 3-hour show with no title belts. The fuck?
I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't.
Anyway, if you missed the match This is literally what happens. Okay? Superman punch, bell rings, Superman punch, another, spear 2, spear 3. Lesnar gets a guillotine on. Roman powers him up and sort of spine busters him. Lesnar powers again with another guillotine, with Heyman screaming, "Tap, you son of a bitch." Reigns does exactly the same thing again. Lesnar takes the gloves off. Superman punch is avoided. German suplexes. Brock looks at Braun as Brooklyn, it was Brooklyn, wasn't it? Screams that you both suck very, very loudly. F5 attempt. Reigns slips out off the rope for another spear, but Brock sidesteps it, leading to Reigns inadvertently suicide diving Braun Strowman. Brock comes out, grabs Braun, F5s him. Brock then grabs the briefcase and fucking waffles it all the way up the ramp. Hits the very back of the stage area where the guys come out. Damages a load of LEDs. One of these days, Brock is again going to fuck up and hurt someone in the audience.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I haven't seen him throw like that since he fucking launched a car door and fucking
nearly killed somebody with it. Yes. That was that. Brock lays into Braun with a chair for ages because apparently that's what happened. Is what's going to happen after that what you think? Yes, it is. Brock gets in. Oh look, there's a spear. 1, 2, 3. And your new champion, he's done it! He's done it at last! Oh my goodness, he's done it! Yes, after 2 fucking million tries, we don't have to see this anymore, apart from the actual rematch, I guess. Bollocks.
Rematch against someone
there's not gonna be a rematch.
He's contractually obligated.
He's contractually obligated to have a rematch for the title, not against Reigns.
But yeah,
this
entire
happen
thing
at some
can fuck
point.
off. Basically.
They'll work out something after the UFC. Nobody can beat Strowman except for the one person who's done it previously.
Yeah.
Stephanie brings back fucking Brock Lesnar, and there we go, done. That'll be how that'll go down. That'll be years away though.
Brick Lesnar, he's back. He's 45. He's another UFC champion. He may have lost another twice again. He may be looking very big again.
I get it. All right, I get Lesnar having the belt can be a thing, but the belt has to mean something, and I get that Lesnar's big enough in this position where he can demand a really expensive payday. I do. I get it. You know, it's a thing that happens. It's business. Lesnar is a very savvy businessman. I get it.
I would argue...
However, that does not mean that it should take away from the product in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, of course not.
Not having the belt there day in, day out, or at least at every pay-per-view. I get it. Just make him do fucking satellite appearances. He doesn't have to be there for the payday. I get it.
Via satellite. I would make the argument that Brock Lesnar has done more for the Intercontinental Championship than he has done for the Universal title.
Yep.
Because I had a lot of time on over the last year, essentially,
and it's benefited for it because you've had really good champions like Dolph, Miz, and Seth to be workhorses on it. But anyway, thus ends the pay-per-view.
Thus ends the pay-per-view. But I want to talk about one particular storyline that has happened past on 2 episodes of Raw, past the thing of Kevin Owens. I get it.
Who?
Kevin Owens. Yeah.
Remind me who that guy is.
Right, he quit. So the first episode of Raw afterwards, fucking
he no-showed.
Seth Rollins, he wasn't there after theirs. Following episode of Raw, went up against Seth Rollins on the Open Challenge. Fucking grade A match. Fucking spectacular to watch. Couldn't pull it through, and then was sat in the ring through adverts and everything else, and then says, I quit, and leaves. Fine. Brilliant. Good story. In the waking week after that, WWE pull him down, put him to alumni, everything else, kayfabe, etc. Nobody had seen the man like anywhere
all week. Yeah,
brilliant stuff. Following week on Raw, you know, after we've had the Shield reunite and everything else and all this bullshit, and I'll talk about that on some other point. But
probably the next pay-per-view.
Fucking, if you're gonna stick to try and kayfabe the man, why the fuck is he leading a charge against breaking the Shield in the main event of the following week on Raw?
That wasn't the worst part. The worst part was he's now in a bloody angle with Mr. I'm so dull and boring and my man, yeah, my man, my Bobby Lashley. It's like, I don't
get it. They're really underutilizing Kevin Owens at this point.
And he just signed a new deal, supposedly, and I'm like thinking, was it really worth it? Was it really worth for that amount of money where you're now getting screwed into this mid-card garbage? Or even lower tier garbage. This is absolutely ridiculous.
And this is all because they've got this fucking main event plan going forward, which is...
But you have your main event there. It's like he has been a champion before. Granted, he wasn't that strong because you were obviously... The book, you know, the writers were just tiptoeing around the whole situation with Owens because he was just obviously there as filler, essentially, before
this
Goldberg and whatnot.
This whole Shield reuniting thing would have worked better at SummerSlam as well. You know, I fail to believe that Braun Strowman, the man who got buried by ladders, fucking put in a garbage truck and everything else, can't get up from an F5 on a fucking ramp, go get his briefcase, come back down, go to cash in on Reigns, and then have the Shield come out and pull their trick. That would have been the better ending if they wanted to stop Braun cashing in.
Prediction.
Oh God.
Kevin Owens wins the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania.
I'd rather he win the Universal Championship, but prediction. The Superstar Showdown, which has the Shield versus Braun Strowman and Ziggler, will become
Ziggler and McIntyre.
Will become whoever gets the pinfall gets the title belt off the opposing person.
Oh, so King of the Ring 2001.
Yep.
All right.
So if the Shield, because I believe the Shield have the Freebirds rule, don't they?
No.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't had.
They do, but they don't use it.
Right. Yeah. So if the Shield pin either McIntyre or Ziggler, then they'll get the tag belts. Anybody who pins Reigns gets the Universal. Anybody that pins not Ambrose, Seth gets the Intercontinental. It's the only way I can see that match have any merit other than 6 guys punching each other for half an hour. It's literally the only way I can see that match having any merit, because you've got 3 of your titles in one match, which means SmackDown's going to have all the rest of its titles and the 2 women's titles at the Super Showdown. And the only way I can see that main event have any merit other than it's literally going to be filler until Undertaker Triple H heads off the card is that's it. If that doesn't happen, it will be a fucking travesty. I think that's a good point to end it. This has been a couple of late recordings for SummerSlam 2018. Life has unfortunately got in the way. Hope you enjoyed it nonetheless.
Yes.
We will return hopefully relatively promptly for Hell in a Cell, but life may get in the way again. Until that time, however,
whoa!
I've been slowed down.
Are you signing off?
I am.
Might it not be an idea that we give the people our score of the pay-per-view?
Nah.
Okay, so on that basis... you will have to figure out what our score is at the pay-per-view. Alternatively, no, Turbo was just score 10.
Quick, 7.
6.5.
I'll go with 6.5.
There you go.
There.
It was
brilliant. It was air.
It was
The last hour, and we've had this a couple of times recently. Last hour, awful.
Yeah.
Watch SmackDown is basically what we're saying here.
Yes,
Or
please.
Watch
No,
SmackDown and NXT.
Just fucking SmackDown's good. And if my prediction comes to pass,
You
It
will
will be a fantastic Mania season.
if my prediction comes to pass, I want the belt regardless of any calling on WrestleMania. If my prediction, I want the belt regardless.
If Kevin Owens becomes Intercontinental Champion, expect that.
You're keeping it, yeah.
No. If I've managed to call 9 months of booking,
Yeah, but I called half of it.
you helped.
And I'm just here, just winging it.
Basically, we're saying is John, you're not getting your belt back. Whatever.
Of course I'm not gonna get my belt back. I'm never gonna get that belt back.
You just stop.
I got 4 up there, and they're fine.
Oh yeah.
We should look at getting a specific one, mate.
Hang on a minute.
Oh my god! Right, while he goes and gets that and proves to everybody that he's an NXT champion. Thank you as always for watching and or listening on the YouTubes and the iTunes feed. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk about wrestling while Kev goes and has a large championship dangled over his shoulder. I have been Pete Tightscreed Nethercoat, joined forever by the LMKO prediction champion of 2018, Mr. Kevin the Kevin Eva,
AKA Champ.
the mayor of Dick,
so much.
the mayor. He is the mayor of Dick Kick City, and Mr. John Turbo Finlay. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching and all listening. Until the next video, we will see you in the reflection of Kevin's belt. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.